I'll also say this: the Cowboys did this in the right order because you don't get Dak and then Zeke. If you're going to get Dak, you need Zeke. Dak needs Zeke.
Yeah.
They need to have a strong running game, otherwise Dak drops a few bags, right? So they need the strong running back. They did that. Now they can lock up the quarterback, who's okay, but he can get the job done, which might mean Cooper's not in the future for the Cowboys. In the big inning, there was baseball. I'm CJ. What's up, man?
I'm triggered as usual. I'm about to get in a huge rant. Let me just say this is 27 Down per podcast for the perfect game. I was at 2 Yankees games this week, and both games, the idiot fans tried to do the wave. I don't understand why this is a thing that we do at Yankee Stadium, okay? We know we don't do it at Yankee Stadium. All the people in the bleachers tell you not to do it in Yankee Stadium. Yet, you guys try to do it. And you try to do it in the bottom of the fifth when we're winning a 3-0 game. Pay attention to the game.
Yeah.
Why are we doing the wave?
I would say that even if the score was like 1,000,000-0, no. The answer is no. You want to do the wave, go to the beach.
No, go to Tropicana Field. Take the 5,000 people who were at the stadium trying to do the wave last night, send them to Tropicana. They'll double the audience in Tropicana, and they can all do the wave. It will be the greatest wave in the history of Tropicana Field. Don't do it at Yankee Stadium, okay?
Listen, Yankee Stadium. I got 2 words for you. You know what I'm going to say, though.
Yeah, just say it. I'm actually mad. I was on a huge rant on Twitter last night. This is a big deal to me. I don't like it. It makes us look stupid. Yeah, say it. Go. Sorry. Go.
Stop it. Those are the 2 words. The 2 words are, once again, just stop it. Okay, so let me paint the picture here. So, like I said, like he said, Evan and I were at Tuesday night's game. Great game. Yanks 5 home runs was it was an awesome game.
Awesome game.
Yeah, it was like after the second or third home run. Now we're sitting in the bleacher creature section.
We were literally 2 rows in behind the DD home run where it landed.
Right.
It was right in front of us.
So in front of that section, there's the seats in front, and some people in there started to try to start a wave. Now, I got to tell you something. Except for the bleacher creature section itself, there is no worse place for you to start a wave. Right in front of the bleacher creatures.
No.
The answer is no. And it gets even funnier because they're trying it, right? And I think I may be one of the first people who gets up and goes, "You ain't doing that.
Yep.
That's not happening." I am screaming at these people.
You and I both were. I probably cursed a lot. I'm sorry. I sounded like Chris.
It's fine. It happens. A lot of other people got really upset. And that's when the chant broke out. No wave, no wave, no wave, no wave. No wave, no wave. And the people who tried to start the wave were sitting there like, what? What the hell did I do? Why is everyone being such an asshole? That was my favorite part.
Yeah, no, and it was great because they actually shut it down. Well, the idiots last night were smart and they knew not to try to start it in the bleachers. They started all the way up top in the 400 section, and it actually got around all the way to the bleachers. That's when it died, because the bleacher creatures are not going to have that, and they started the chant once it got to them again not to do it.
Now, I got to say this. The only time it's appropriate for someone in Yankee Stadium to start a wave is when it's a little kid. And I will also say...
Yes, I would not scream at a child.
Oh, well, no, you see, that's not where I'm going with this.
Okay.
It's still appropriate to scream at them for it.
Okay.
They got to learn. They got to know the right way of doing things. So little kids say, wave! You point at that little kid and you say, no! No!
That's not yelling, though. I mean, I'm talking about the adult fans who are like, you fucking child, like, you can't do that.
I guess don't use the F word, but if you want to say, like, you freaking child, I guess, you know.
Are we allowed to throw hot dogs with mustard? Or ketchup?
Well...
Not hot sauce, because that could burn the eyes, but mustard or ketchup is that.
I would say don't throw the hot dog because you paid $5 for it.
Okay.
what you should be throwing is stuff that you find. So if people are eating peanuts, throw the shells. I would say if you find old person's cane, throw that. Maybe someone gets really drunk, passes out, and throw the person.
Right.
But you don't waste your money like that.
Someone's cane.
Well, if it's there.
So none of the old people in the Bronx are going to get home that night?
Don't go looking for one. I'm just saying if it's next to you.
I honestly could talk about the wave like all episode. We're not going to do that, but it really, dude, it bothers me a lot.
So the wave was successful yesterday, is what you're saying?
No, I mean, I guess it can kind of be successful. It did not make an entire loop around. It basically started from where my section was, which was behind home plate in 400, and it went all the way around to the bleacher creatures, and they killed it right there. So it was about half the stadium.
I wonder if Vic Flair was there again. Good for Vic. He caught a home run ball.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a Yankee player throwing it at him, actually. I think it was like one of the outfielders threw a ball.
It might have been that. I can't remember.
But Vic caught a ball.
He caught a ball.
Good for you, Vic.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very proud of Vic Flair. Can we move on from this rant, or do you have more to say about it, or what?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, let's talk about. It's like we need to call this podcast the Yankees Mets podcast.
It certainly turned into that. This is not our intentions when we got into the show. We wanted to talk about all the teams equally, but
just so you know, after we finish an episode, we go, man, let's not talk about the Mets again. But you know how difficult that is when the Mets keep doing things. The Mets keep doing things. Don't pump your fist, not good things.
Yeah,
they blow 6-run leads in the 9th inning. What are you fist pumping for?
Joe, our producer, is a stinky Mets fan. We got to deal with it every week, but
he's got to deal with us every week.
He's actually talking for the first time right now, so we've triggered him a
bit. Hey, man. At least
it's frustrating because I don't want to get tricked by them again because I talked so positively about them a couple episodes again, and then they did the 6-game skid, and now, they're doing some things, and Pete Alonso's probably going to break Judge's home run record.
Probably. There's 25, 24 games left.
He's at 45.
He's at 45.
Break 50.
He's gone cold before, but I mean, he's close. He's right there. I think he
can come close. I think he's going to get 50.
Oh, you know what? This kind of cuts into what we're talking about here, but I had mentioned this to you. Home runs in AAA are
Yes, I wanted to talk about that.
Home runs in AAA are up 60% this year. You know what else started in AAA this year?
I do. Why don't you tell us?
They're using the MLB ball for the first time this year. They used to use their own balls. It was a cost-cutting thing. They were using cheaper baseball.
That confirms quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, it's not a great look.
No, it's not, especially
it's a bad
since
look.
They decided to basically lie and say that they weren't doing that. Now they can't retract that statement. It will make them look even more poor than it already has.
And this comes right back to me taking a nice frosty dump on Rob Manfred. I'm going to do it again.
Man poopy.
Don't ask me. 2 things. First of all, don't ask me why it's a frosty dump. Secondly, stop it. Stop it with the man poopy. Come up with a better name.
No, it annoys you so much I'm going to use it for the rest of our lives, bro.
I hope he resigns. Only for that reason. Also because he's killing baseball, but mostly for that reason. He has come out several times. The ball is the same. We have not changed the ball. And you know what? I would actually disagree with people who say that home runs are up in Major League Baseball only because of the ball. That's not the case. There's also been a scouting push for launch angle and exit velocity.
Right.
That's become a very, very big, kind of like a market inefficiency in baseball. It's the new money ball, so to speak. That's part of it. But how? How in the world are you going to continue to deny this? How? How can you possibly continue to deny this?
I mean, it's the most analytical sport, and the numbers are there showing what the issue is. So if they continue to,
You understand that if in the NBA, people started getting more rotation on their shots.
Right.
And, that extra rotation allowed for more hang time on shots and further shots, and people start hitting more 3-pointers because of it, we would go, okay, that's weird. But then if in the G League they switch to that same ball and the same exact thing happened, everyone would be like, wait, you changed the ball.
Yeah.
Now, the NBA did change the ball about 10 years ago. Remember that? 10, 15 years ago?
I actually did not know.
Yeah, they changed the ball. None of the players knew it was going to happen. And all the players were like, this is terrible. Sweat absorbs into the ball and it becomes slippery. That did happen.
Okay.
But, like, no, they were honest about it. Yeah, we changed the ball. Our bad. They got rid of it.
See, that's the biggest issue about this is they're not being honest with it, because everyone knows.
All they had to do was say, okay, look, you got us. We did change the ball. We wanted more home runs.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they didn't do that is because they didn't want to come off as, kind of hurting the careers of pitchers. There's a lot of teams out there that have a lot of money invested in pitchers.
Right. Especially when you're that, like, mid-tier pitcher who's relying on having, that productive year. If you're giving up 40 home runs, that's going to be the difference between, 20 million and like 5.
Yeah.
It's a big
If
deal.
you're giving up 40 home runs, you have bigger problems in the baseball. I think you're just bad at
I mean,
baseball. The Yankee pitcher should be giving up 40 home runs.
right.
That's multiple home runs per start.
Yeah. It's
That's
not good.
That's this is a little thing that I saw.
I mean,
that I kinda
look at what happened with Mike Moustakas. He got screwed a couple times with his contracts. He's not even a pitcher.
He sucks. That's why.
He's not good, but he's a serviceable player who's better than some of the third basemen in the league.
His last name is Greek for big mustache. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
I needed to know that.
Mike Big Mustache.
Okay.
All right. Mets gonna Met. They are currently. I don't have the standings up in front of me. I probably should have pulled them up, but it's.
I don't have them either.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
What do you need?
Yeah, I need NL wildcard standings. I need NL wildcard standings is what I need. If only that TV if you could project to that TV, that would be
That
great.
would be awesome.
We could work on that.
For the next episode. I'm getting it up right now.
Congratulations.
Okay.
It's not good. They had several teams to jump. They've already fallen back in the standings. I said this last week. I have zero faith.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we both agreed on 55% faith last week.
I think I was at like 60.
And I was at 40. So
Yeah,
I said
something
50,
like that.
But then that 50 became 55.
So the Mets are currently 4.5 games back of the wild card.
How many teams ahead?
5 teams ahead. Washington.
5 teams ahead of them. Oh no, you're including the current wild card teams.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the teams chasing? How many are ahead of the Mets? 3.
3. It's Milwaukee, Philly, and Arizona.
That's tough.
With Washington and the Cubs.
That's tough, and a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people. Okay, so years ago when the Yankees were not very good, back in like 2014 or so, people would see the wild card standings. They're like, yeah, they can do it. It's 3.5 games. There was like 5 teams ahead of them. Do you understand what that means? You need 5 teams to lose to gain ground.
Right.
No.
It doesn't seem realistic.
I don't want to dunk on the Mets. We've said pretty much what we have to say. So, if you want more, is that what you're saying? Bring it on. Is that what that is? No, don't worry. There's weeks left in the season. I'm sure they'll pull something to give you some more next week.
I'm not convinced they can make that strong playoff push. The teams that are ahead of them to me are pretty severe, and the Nationals are actually a concern to me. I think that
They're a good team. Yeah.
I think that they can really get hot and make a push.
Yeah, I think
as do the Braves.
I think I've mentioned it. Like that's not a starting lineup you want to see in the playoffs in a short series.
Right.
You don't want to see Strasburg, Scherzer, Corbin. You don't want to see those guys.
Yeah.
But hey, who knows? I mean, back in what was that 2010 when the Phillies had the greatest starting pitch. Oh, it's the greatest starting pitching ever.
Yeah.
They were out in the first round.
Yeah.
So things happen. you wanted to talk about something. I feel like we talk about the Mets right now. So this is kind of a perfect segue because the Mets, I heard, now this is an urban legend.
Okay.
There's a player. I've heard his name is like Yoenis Cespedes. He might be an urban legend because nobody's ever actually seen him play for the Mets. That has never been a thing. But urban myth has it that this player, it has an incredible arm. Legend also has it that he's terrible at defense.
Terrible.
And people don't understand the difference. So why don't you kind of...
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference when you look at, when people explain what a 5-tool player is, that, that's usually arm, range, defense, batting average, home runs, right?
I think it's arm, fielding, speed, contact power.
Okay. For someone,
that so does not explain all of the things that a baseball player can do, by the way.
Right, no, exactly. So when I played baseball into high school, I was a very mediocre right fielder with an arm. I had no range whatsoever. If the ball dropped in front of me or I caught it on the fly, I was usually going to get someone out, tagging or running to second. But if I had to move to my right, like 10, 15 feet, probably not going to get the same momentum to do that.
Right.
So when we looked at the red blunder Clint Frazier play the other day, it was a one-hopper right to him. He got it in his glove, and with his momentum, he threw like 96 miles per hour or something to the plate and got him right on his chest.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible throw. That does not mean his defense is good
now. Right. Yeah, so there's a few things to discuss here. Arm and range are not the same thing.
Not at all.
So players that have poor range, I guess, could make up for it with their arm, but it's still not that great. There are, of course, players who are good at both. Aaron Hicks is fantastic at both. When he caught that ball against the Twins with bases loaded, I got to tell you, I peed straight up in the air.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
I don't know. It was unbelievable, and I understood what you meant.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you're a guy who can throw people out, people will sometimes equate that with you being a good defender. Do you know how many times Gary Sheffield got called a good defender in his career?
Quite a bit it wasn't.
He sucked.
Yeah.
He was really bad.
No range and very slow.
Another thing that tends to happen is people see these fielders, not just outfielders, but fielders in general, make these circus catches.
Yeah.
I can already feel Yankee Twitter turning on me as I'm about to say this. Derek Jeter kind of sucked at defense. And people would always go, look at that jump throw and look at that jump into the stands.
Yeah.
And
and we've talked about this so many times. When you have to do that is because you're overcompensating for what you don't have.
Right.
What he
not always true. Not always true. Sometimes you legitimately, even if you're a great defender, you have to dive and you have to throw the
For someone with 5 gold gloves or 4.
Well, gold gloves are stupid.
Of course they're stupid, but do you think Brett Gardner is a better fielder than Jeter? I know they play different positions, but
than Jeter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to say, but I guess...
It's very hard to say.
I guess if I were to rank, at the time of their defensive peaks, the top 10 left fielders versus the top 10 shortstops, Brett Gardner would be number 1 at the time of his peak. He would probably be the best defender in all of baseball, to be honest.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter at his peak, I guess I could give him like number 10 out of pity.
Yeah.
But it would be out of pity.
Yeah. And it's also tough, too, when you have 2 of the most iconic plays that we saw in the 90s, people also equate that to really good defense.
I will say this. The flip play was phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
The one against the A's, like that is legitimately this dude went from the shortstop position to whatever new position he invented between first and catcher.
Yeah, it was
that was wild.
Yeah.
To recognize that the throw was that far off, although I have heard recently that was a play that they practiced, that he knew, well, let me just run this way just in case.
I mean...
But still, he executed it.
He did. And I mean, Posada deserves a lot of credit for that tag, too. That's not exactly the easiest thing to do. Though the Giambi brothers are the slowest runners on the team at the time. That was Jeremy, I believe.
That was Jeremy, yeah. again, Twitter, please don't demolish me over this. And before you come at me and try to throw the 5 gold glove thing at me, did I ever tell you, I might have said this at some point on this very show, the Rafael Palmeiro story?
I don't remember. No, let's hear this.
I forget what year it was. I believe it was 96. Tino Martinez had easily the best defensive year out of any catcher. I mean, out of any first baseman.
Yep.
But unfortunately, Rafael Palmeiro won the award.
Oh, you did tell me this.
Rafael Palmeiro played 16 games at first that year. He was a DH the rest of the year.
No.
How do you tell me this player has Gold Glove awards and I'm supposed to take that seriously?
Yeah, no, that takes a huge amount of credibility away from the award.
So I'm sorry, I'm not hearing it. The Platinum Glove award, or maybe I'll listen.
Yeah,
maybe.
DJ has that, I believe, once or twice.
Cool, good.
But yeah, back to Brett Gardner. It bothers me though when you look at the stats that he had. The year that I think he was supposed to win his second one. He only has one, and he had chances at 3.
Yeah, he's been robbed by Alex Gordon.
Several times. But the second time he was supposed to get one, Alex Gordon had like 2 or 3 errors and was second in outfield assists. Brett was third in outfield assists and had no errors and led it in some other category.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, his field percentage was 1,000. He didn't have any errors.
Right.
He was perfect.
It's hard. It is. I will say this: it's hard to gauge an outfielder or any player's defense because. Yeah, sometimes you make an error, but sometimes it's a really hard play. Sometimes the score doesn't exactly go your way.
Alex Gordon sucks. I don't care.
Errors, now he does. Errors are not exactly a great way to... It's going to sound ass backwards. Errors are not a great way to judge a player's defense. Because, think about it like this. I bet you, if I go out there and you put me at short, I won't make any errors. I'll never catch the ball. The ball has to be hit right at me, but I guarantee you, if that ball's hit to my glove, I'm throwing that guy out. So you know what I mean? Like I would be a terrible defender in Major League Baseball. I wouldn't make any errors. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's also another thing. It's like people don't understand that when there's a pitcher, you look at the pitcher's ERA, and that ERA you think earned run average, so only the earned runs are going to count. But again, this does not account. That only accounts for errors. That doesn't account for, we have Didi Gregorius at shortstop. Awesome defender. The guy has a range unlike anyone else. Maybe like Andrelton Simmons and like maybe Carlos Correa. Maybe I'll give it to like Xander Bogaerts. But Didi's right up there in terms of defensive shortstops. The first time I ever saw him for the Yankees make a play to the other side of second base, my head almost exploded. Derek Jeter never did that.
No.
Now, imagine for a second, instead of Didi Gregorius, the Yankees have, Yuniesky Betancourt. Remember him?
I do.
Little fat guy playing shortstop.
Yeah.
This guy couldn't get to anything. Never made errors. Couldn't get to anything. So the pitchers with him on his team, had slightly higher ERAs than they normally would have if they had had a good defense behind them. So sometimes that stuff doesn't really come through on ERA.
Right.
I will go on a rant about FIP versus ERA eventually. I think I may already have.
You want to do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess this brings us to maybe we'll probably have a few other things. Maybe who knows? We can shift gears.
You got any shout-outs?
We're not done. We got one other thing to talk about minimum. Now I'm going to throw a bottle cap at you. Take that.
Shout out to Stacey Hampton and Brett Justin Cole.
That couldn't wait until the end of the show.
No, you just
listen. Stacey and what? Stacey and who?
Really?
Wasn't like no one listen to you.
Brett Justin Cole. Come on.
Brett Justin
Brett Justin Cole.
Brittany and Brett. Thank you.
No, not Brittany. Stacey.
Stacey and Brett.
How are you messing up? Stacey is a lovely person. She's not going to watch the show now. Thank you, Dick.
Stacey, I apologize. You're not Brittany.
Do you like we're in coffee club together?
Want to try that one more time?
No, wait, no.
Okay.
Moving on.
No, Stacey. God damn it.
There's no Brittany. Actually, there is one Brittany that I know. Hi, Brittany.
She follows us?
She follows me.
No, but I mean, like, she's a fan of the show or no?
I hope so. Watch the show, Brittany.
Brittany, Stacy, and what's the last one? Brett?
Yes.
Thank you for your patronage. We appreciate it. Give us $10.
Kristen, too, and Kate.
Keep going, man. I'm going to let you have as many shout outs as you want.
Nathan, Matt, Greg, Aaron.
Anything else?
No.
What about Nikki?
Nikki.
Come on.
Oh, it's her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Nikki.
Happy birthday, Nikki. Excellent. It was my birthday yesterday.
No, it wasn't. Wait a second. She was actually at the game celebrating when Judge hit his home run.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
Okay,
Excellent.
cool. Moving on now.
Moving right along. You want to shift gears to a different sport?
Football.
Yeah, we kind of did this last week. Maybe we'll do it a little more often. Not every week, but it's nice to kind of branch out. There's really not that much going on in baseball, to be honest with you. Everything is as you'd expect.
It's a little slow right now.
You know, the Yankees are really good. Dodgers are really good. Mets suck. Astros are great. All of this stuff is like, stuff you would expect. Like if the Phillies came out of nowhere and strung together 8 straight, I might talk about that. Or if the Red Sox became a good baseball team, I might talk about that.
I believe they're 15 or 16 now.
I believe it's 15 because I think they won yesterday. Yeah.
I want it to be 16 because if we swept them, they're down by 20, and that's just amazing.
I want them to make the playoffs because I want the Yankees to
embarrass them.
I want the Yankees to change their diaper in the playoffs. In my head, I really had to think about how that statement should go.
Yeah.
Would the
I'm glad
Yankees,
you went with that.
let's think about this. Would the dominant team change the diaper, or would the dominant team get its diaper changed? In other words, what is the dominant action here? Is the dominant action changing the diaper, or is the dominant action getting the diaper changed? What do you think?
It's a dumb question, but also very profound. I don't like
I'm going to say that the dominant is changing the diaper.
I was going to say that.
Because you're vulnerable without your diaper on.
And you don't really have a choice.
Like poop or pee and it gets everywhere. So I'm going to say that I want the Yankees to change the Red Sox diaper.
Does JD Dave Martinez leave?
I don't know who JD Dave Martinez is.
JD Martinez, you dickhead.
Probably.
Okay,
I think he does. Yeah, I think he opts out.
Because it was a 5-year, $100 million, 2 opt-outs.
Yes.
After second
and fourth.
Yeah. And so this is the 4th year.
This is the second. Yeah, this is the second year.
Wow. So last year was his first year with the Sox. I thought it might have been the second. Okay.
Nope.
Got it.
Oh yeah, he'll probably opt out.
Yeah, he's gonna opt out.
But then again, who the hell knows? With the way markets are these days, he's not that old. I don't think. What is he, like 28?
I believe he's closer to 30, but yeah,
he might not opt out because I think players are starting.
He's like right on that line between 29 and 30.
I think the players are starting to see the writing on the wall, and that's why you're seeing some players take the qualifying offer. You saw Masahiro Tanaka refuse to opt out. You're seeing the younger players who are still in arbitration accepting deals that buy out their arbitration years. I think the writing's on the wall. Yeah. Want to pass me one of those fruit snacks?
I do.
Great. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, thank you very much. I hope this doesn't crinkle too much. Let's open that and yum.
Scooby snacks. I'm good.
Okay. All right. That was enough.
Just chew into the mic a little louder, please. That was awesome.
So the Zeke extension. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, it's a lot of money, but again, it's football contract, so I think only like 35 is guaranteed or something.
Out of the 90, 50 is guaranteed.
50 is okay. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
It's a good chunk of change. I'm torn, honestly, because Zeke had no leverage. Zeke was a first-round draft pick, which means that the contract is protected in a way that if he were to hold out for like a year, the Cowboys would just get that year back.
He still has 2 years on his current deal.
He has 2 years left on the
Okay, so it's an 8-year deal. That kind of.
It is now 8 years. Yeah, they have 3 years. On the flip side, that 8-year deal is going to take him to like, I don't know, age like 29, I think. So, yeah, that's about the end of a running back's shelf life.
It is.
You got to figure that this is the Cowboys just trying to pay him for the years that he's going to be valuable and get him. So the alternative is he's a free agent at the age of like 26 or something.
Right.
And he wants another contract. he won't take like a 3-year deal at that point. He'll probably want 4 or 5.
He would
So
want,
you're kind of getting the years that you would have normally gotten on an albatross contract.
right.
You know.
No, but you're correct. We have definitely seen the players' mentality shift a little bit with, Luck retiring early and Gronk retiring early. I think health issues and all this.
Even
stuff.
before then, you've been seeing this because
We've definitely seen it over the past several
who
years.
was it? Wasn't it? Was it Kirk Cousins that got a fully guaranteed contract?
Yeah, he was the first after doing the franchise tag for like 2 or 3 years.
I think it was 2. I think it was 2 years. Yeah, he got a fully guaranteed
He
contract.
got a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
He was very wise in what he did. Antonio Brown, that knucklehead, is probably getting suspended for getting in a fight with the GM, Maylock or whatever.
Yeah, Maylock. What's up with him? Did the Vontaze Burfict hit mess something up? Like, was that what caused all of this?
The fact that I now like Odell Beckham Jr. more than I do Antonio Brown, that's an issue because I can't stand Odell. He's a knucklehead too.
Because AB's always been a weirdo.
He's always been a weirdo, but at least he had leverage in Pittsburgh because he could make us feel like Pittsburgh was the issue. But now he comes over to this other team and he's doing the same knucklehead things. And now the whole league goes, well, clearly 2 teams don't have the issue you do.
He's a knucklehead.
He's a knucklehead.
As Charles Barkley would say.
Yeah. And it's a pain in the ass, dude. They're actually considering trying to void his $30 million contract because they don't want to deal with him anymore.
Really?
When is that going to get through his head that you're causing huge issues that you might not even play a game for the Raiders?
Insane. Because they gave up quite a bit for him. This sucks. If you're a Raiders fan, you're like, I saw this coming, but I'm still angry.
Yeah. It's so frustrating because you finally who was the player they traded to the Cowboys, their wide receiver?
Amari Cooper.
Okay, Amari Cooper.
Who's a free agent after this year.
Yeah, and he's pretty solid. So you replace him basically with this guy. Well, this guy has bigger issues than Cooper ever did, I think. And Cooper had issues too, didn't he?
Yeah, Cooper was weird. Cooper, he kind of just needed, I don't know, maybe more structure because he was okay with the Cowboys. He didn't have any problems on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question. So the Cowboys extend Zeke. Let's say there's only, so much money to go around.
Right.
Do you give Dak a contract like that? Do you give Dak a contract that's going to be comparable to some of the more rich quarterback contracts we've seen? What do you think about that?
That was unnecessary. Don't ever do that on my show.
This is our show. I get 50% say.
Then do 50% less per week.
Answer my question already.
Say it again. You distracted the shit out of me.
Did I knock the thought out of your head?
You really did. That distracted me so bad, dude.
The question was, do you give Dak the rich contracts like some of the better quarterbacks in the NFL are getting?
I think it's tough. I think they think about it really hard because would you say he's one of the top 10 best in the league, top 15, top 20?
Probably, honestly, man.
Where are we putting him?
He just screams like middle of the road.
Exactly.
He just screams like 16th best quarterback. That's what he's.
I see him next to like a Nick Foles, and we're gonna see Nick Foles as the starter for the first.
I probably see him a little better than Nick Foles.
No, a little better, but I'm saying I see him in the same like range, a couple of spots.
Yeah, but then you start to wonder. Let's say the Cowboys don't. So who's their quarterback?
Exactly. That's why I wouldn't do it, because losing a quarterback is you're gonna wait for the draft and then hope you get.
Even if he's the 16th best.
Yeah.
What's your alternative? The 28th best?
Right, and you're usually in football, you're not going to get that opportunity as a good free agent. It's usually like the Fitzpatricks or the whatever. That's who you're going to get.
The journeyman, the
journeyman
Warriors.
Exactly. How is Fitzpatrick still playing?
He's going to be starting for the Dolphins.
I know. I thought he was done.
We're Jets fans. We're licking our lips at that thought.
Yeah.
I'll also say this: the Cowboys did this in the right order because. You don't get Dak and then Zeke. If you're going to get Dak, you need Zeke. Dak needs Zeke.
Yeah.
You need to have a strong running game, otherwise Dak drops a few bags, right? So they need
so.
the strong running back. They did that. Now they can lock up the quarterback, who's okay, but he can get the job done, which might mean Cooper's not in the future for the Cowboys.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, and if you look at the Giants too, I actually think that Daniel Jones is going to surprise some people this year, and I thought that was a dumb pick, as did most of us.
Yeah.
Do we really think Eli's going to be that productive for that much longer? I mean, he's been on the way out for 2 seasons now. And
I feel like there's like a constant, like, is Eli going to play this year for the Giants?
And I hate that. That's like the player who, like at Duhar, for example, he's on the trading block for a year and a half now, and he's literally done nothing except try to work hard to get back.
Yeah.
That's got to be terrible for him.
I have several friends that are Cowboys fans. I will actually give a shout out.
Oh, cool.
I will actually give a shout out to my buddy Nick. Nick, who listens to us once in a while. He's a Cowboys fan.
Hi, Nick.
And he, he doesn't have the best taste in teams.
Well, he's a Cowboys.
He is a Yankees fan.
Oh, cool. Gotta take one too.
I also do have one Twitter shout out before we get going. I said I didn't have any, but I do have one. NYYPats276.
Yes, very good fan.
That's
talks to me
his,
like every day.
Yeah, same here, man. That's his Twitter handle at NYYPats276. Give him a follow. He is a forever friend of the show.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of you guys who talk to us on Twitter on a daily basis, and it's hard when we're filming to always get the shout outs right. But just know, if we talk every day, you're pretty important to what we're trying to do here. We appreciate it.
And I promise everyone, there's no fire in this building. That's just, something's going on outside on the streets of White Plains. So that's where that is. Do we have anything else?
I think we had a good show. I think we're done.
I think we're done too.
This is 27 Down, Perfect Podcast for the Perfect Game. Take care, guys.